Hi everybody, welcome to your 4 to 5. Eric Chilton here with Cindy Moore and Chad Silver, ready to go on this Friday. Kick off the weekend.
Good afternoon to the both of you.
Nice to see you, and we're headed, sounds like, back up into the 90s this weekend.
90s, maybe 3 days straight coming up. We'll talk about it in a little bit.
All right. Well, first at 4, we are learning more about a triad teenager making a difference after his death. 16-year-old Camden Snow died Wednesday in a car crash in Davidson County.
He was a sophomore at West Davidson High School. His father says they've donated his organs to help save the lives of 7 to 8 other people.
In the meantime, the district wrote in a statement, "We know that beginning a new school year without Camden will be especially difficult for his friends at West Davidson." Counselors were available today for students who were members of the West Davidson band with Camden, and we will continue to provide support for students as we begin the new school year.
All right, we talked about hot temperatures and they are on the way. However, remember we've mentioned this over the last 4 or 5 days that for this summer, we're actually almost half of where we should be for the number of days with highs in the 90s. So consider ourselves lucky, even though we have this little hot stretch coming up about 3 days in a row with 90+ weather. 81 in Greensboro at this hour, 84 in Burlington, Winston-Salem at 82. We have an 82 if you head up toward Walnut Cove and Reedsville as well. And low 80 still in Mount Airy at 81. To the south, Troy is up to 87 degrees in Montgomery County. Mostly clear skies tonight, 70 degrees. There's that 91. That's the first of 3 that we see in our long range forecast. We'll go partly sunny for tomorrow. You see some clouds in there now, but that's actually getting ready to clear out a little bit. You can see we're on the back end of that system. And then once that clears out, we might see our temperatures jump another 2 or 3 degrees. So I think we'll end up probably in the mid 80s today, and possibly maybe an 86 here or there. After that moves by, here comes the heat and humidity. So the high pressure in the south, that develops closer to the Gulf states and then just pumps all that hot air our way, and stickiness too. It is going to be a sticky Saturday. Sunday's even hotter as we expect to see highs go upwards of 93 degrees. Rain chances, unfortunately, they're down. It's only a 20% chance. That's for both days, Saturday and Sunday. We'll have the 7-day for you coming up in just a little bit. We do get some relief next week.
Yeah, so like Eric just said, it's heating up, and if you stepped outside today, you felt it. With temperatures rising, Samet, a local construction company, provided slices of watermelon for workers. Today they were out working at High Point University. On their break, they got some watermelon, shade, and a little lesson about heat dangers and preventing injuries while working outside.
We've been doing this, at least the watermelon, for 3 years, and it's been real successful. Actually, when it ends, the guys are already asking the previous year or the next year, are we doing it again? When are you going to start doing the watermelon events again? So it's a well-known thing here at Samet. You know, these guys, you know, they work 6-7 days a week, sometimes 10-12 hours a day. Like this project here, there's over 200 workers here. And I mean, they're pushing to get this thing done because the students are coming back next week. And it's just every man for himself, but we want to make sure that everybody keeps safety in their mind and stay hydrated and make sure everybody goes home to their families.
Yeah, a lot of hours out there in the heat, and I mean, gosh, I don't know about y'all, but that watermelon looks delicious.
I was like staring at the screen like a fool over here.
I just can't imagine being outside for that long and working in some of these conditions. I can't, and then I also can't imagine how great it must feel to get the watermelon after you've been out there that long.
He was putting something on the...
All right, yes, I noticed that. My mother used to do that. She put salt on watermelon.
Salt on watermelon.
And
Okay.
I did it when I was a kid. I don't do it now, but it is good.
I don't do it anymore because I feel like I'm like getting old, where salt impacts me.
That's right.
But it's so good. You should try it.
So is the watermelon flavor just not enough on its own?
To me, it is now, but when I was a kid and she did it, I thought it tasted really good. That's kind of an old school thing.
Yeah.
And it's become such a thing over generations that, I mean, you can see specific places will have salted watermelon flavored things.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like the watermelon flavoring, but then also some sodium in there.
My mother used to take cucumbers, and I need to do this again because I love it. She did oil and vinegar and cucumbers and salt and pepper, and then she'd put them over ice and leave them out, and we would just eat them. It's not frozen, it's just really cold, but the oil, vinegar, salt, and pepper on a cucumber is so good.
Cucumber water is my favorite.
Yes.
And that reminds me I need to get on that this weekend. Yeah.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. You've got to see some alarming video of a house fire in Winston-Salem overnight. A firefighter's helmet camera captured the huge flames just after midnight at a home on Hazelwood Drive. Flames were shooting through the roof when firefighters got there. No one was hurt. It's not clear how it started.
Earlier this afternoon, UNC Greensboro unveiled its new Minerva Mobile Health Unit. It will allow nursing students to gain clinical experience while serving the community. The Mobile Health Unit will travel to undeserved communities in the Triad to provide health care. It was funded by a $3.7 million grant from the U.S. Health Resources and Services Administration.
The owner of a tobacco shop in Burlington is facing more than a dozen charges, many related to selling illegal drugs. Police say Three Star Tobacco and Vape was selling products that contained levels of THC 60 times higher than the legal limit. Investigators say their undercover operation targeted 4 vape shops in the city, and they anticipate more charges.
Over 28,000 fentanyl pills are off the streets after a drug bust in Randolph County. It was a joint investigation by the Sheriff's Office and Asheboro Police Department. Investigators seized 12.5 pounds of fentanyl pills and cash from a home on Bellawood Drive in Trinity. Officers arrested 20-year-old Robert Gurung. He now faces several felony drug charges, which include trafficking and intent to sell.
By now, you have likely seen the video of a bull loose in Charlotte. Police say they are still looking for this 900-pound longhorn bull caught on camera running through neighborhoods. The owners say the animal got loose while they were moving it during severe weather. Some have said they could face charges for it. Our Verified team looked into the claims today.
Charlotte police say they are still looking for a loose bull roaming around Charlotte. The bull's owners say they were trying to move it from a pasture into an enclosed space during Monday night's storm when the animal got spooked and ran off. So now we're asking officials, if the bull injures somebody or damages someone's property while it's roaming loose, can the owners be held liable? Let's verify. Our sources are a publication from NC State entitled Liability for Injury for Livestock and civil law attorney Gary Monty. According to NC State, a livestock owner has a list of specific rules they need to follow when caring for livestock on their property. This could include ensuring your fence is high enough to keep livestock contained or your locks are working like they should. If not, Monty says anyone who's injured or has property damage by loose livestock can use that information to prove the owner was negligent.
So whatever the industry standard is, that level is going to be a level of conduct that you're expected to adhere to.
There are, however, instances when the owner might not be responsible.
Let's say that there was a lightning bolt and it hit the lock on the gate of the fence and sprung the thing loose. Well, the owner of the livestock has absolutely no control over that.
Then there's the question of criminal liability. Monty says an owner could possibly face criminal charges for damage or injury caused by their loose livestock. Depends on the facts of the case, though. So we can verify that yes, as an owner, if your livestock gets loose from your property and injures someone or damages property, you could be held financially and even possibly criminally responsible. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
The injuries are just, so bad, I could just imagine it just being traumatizing, as well, too.
Well, the property damage he could do, it's not like a dog that gets loose, and he could destroy a fence and break into a window. He's huge.
900 pounds. Yes. It's crazy to me that they haven't found it.
Yeah, how do you hide a 900-pound? That's a joke.
Where did that thing run off to?
It's like the old joke, where does a 900-pound bull sleep? Anywhere he wants. That's
I'm
the answer.
watching it now. It's just going around across the street. Just, oh gosh, wow.
That would freak you out. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
15% of the world's population have some form of disability, whether present at birth or acquired later in life. That's at least 1 billion people, and nearly 240 million of them are children.
A father and son duo in Georgia is trying to help families struggling with a new app.
From the time he was a little child, we were told he's not going to walk, he's not going to speak. Everybody told us what he could not do.
Forget those expectations. From an early age, Angad Sengal and his family pushed beyond what others thought, instead following his passion for life.
I love soccer and I'm a black belt in karate.
Angad, also a student in Georgia State University's IDEAL program. And while living with Down syndrome does mean he needs support, his family is redefining what that looks like.
All of us in some form or shape need help in making a decision. But when it comes to people with disabilities, we try to make it into this big thing.
The Let Me Do It app changes that idea, a nod to Angad's favorite phrase from childhood. With a customizable design tree, the technology helps users break down tasks and decisions into simple steps or reminders, offering support without the need for a physical person to be constantly standing by.
Technology has helped us in so many ways. Why can't we leverage it here?
The family hopes the result is more independence and confidence, a voice for those who could otherwise be left out. And the chance to help others, Angad admits, feels pretty great.
I feel happy and proud.
It's great. Anything that lets them have a sense of independence, basically that's what that does. It allows you to go through a logical step. And I would have to say, I think that I can think of people some of us that don't have those challenges that still could use logically, how would I get through something? You know what I mean? Just kind of helping out with day-to-day life.
I love when people have their own personal stories or background, something that they went through, and they notice that other people are going through the same thing, and they say, you know what, I have a solution, let me try to tackle it. I know exactly what you're feeling. And so for them to go forward with this app and, like you said, help create that independence is, I'm sure, a breath of fresh air for that family in particular as well, too.
Both for people who have disabilities, but then also their families. They encouraging them probably as much to, be able to take some independence and be able to, to do things others can do. So it's great to see.
Yeah. All right, take a break.
You've got to see this incredible weather video out of South Dakota. It's a funnel cloud and a rainbow side by side. The National Weather Service says it happened yesterday during an outbreak of severe weather there. No one was hurt. I mean, what an incredible thing to see.
I wonder if it rained Skittles right after that.
Jeez, I know.
Thank goodness nobody was hurt in this, but I'm not sure I've ever seen that. Seen plenty of rainbows after a storm goes by, even tornadoes. I've seen that, but not simultaneously.
Because typically, you're a better expert than me, but you need the sun to make a rainbow, right? And usually during a tornado, there's no sun.
Not as much, yeah. Which means this must have been a very small. It almost looks like a waterspout type tornado, but yeah, it means this was a very small system in order for the sun to come out and do that. That's interesting. Never seen that. All right, let's talk about our hot weather coming up. 3 days straight of high temperatures expected in the low 90s here. That'll add to our total. In an average year, we get about 37 days with a 90+ degree high temperature. We've only had 16 so far this year, so we might make it up to 19 before Monday rolls around. 81 in Greensboro right now, Burlington 84. I just saw Troy. This is live streaming data, so you'll see it change whenever the temperature does change. Troy just ticked up to 89 down there. Northern counties, 81 in Martinsville and Danville. Hour by hour for us, going into the low 70s tonight. That's about as cool as it gets. We'll see overnight lows right at 70 degrees. We think some of you, especially in the northern counties, may see an upper 60 here or there. Bank of clouds over the central parts of the viewing area, but it's slowly retreating east, and that means mostly clear skies for us as we head into the night. In fact, you can see that here when we go out to the wide shot. Most of that precipitation is south of the triad. Not a stretch. We do have a 20% chance of a shower today. Southern Piedmont, maybe we're talking southern Davidson, Randolph, and Montgomery County, Chatham County, that area, might see a little sprinkle. We saw a couple disturbances there, but again, nothing really to speak of. High pressure will build into the Gulf. That'll lift all the heat and humidity north for the weekend. Here's what your weekend looks like, and we'll include Monday in this hot stretch here. 91 Saturday, 93 Sunday, 91 on Monday. Then we're back to the 80s. It'll be nice after that. Reduced rain chances Saturday, Sunday. It'll be sticky and humid out there. Monday, Tuesday, that's a 30%, so that's a normal late day pop-up shower. Wednesday, best day of the week, 85 and scattered clouds.
Music's most popular genre is celebrating a milestone. On this day 50 years ago, hip-hop was born. Tonight there will be a concert celebrating the day.
The industry has generated billions of dollars and created some of the biggest stars in the world. One of hip-hop's legends sat down to talk about how it's changed our culture.
Happy birthday to hip-hop.
Put your hands in the air! Multi-generational, 50 years from the Bronx to TikTok to the whole world.
Artists from the culture-changing genre have reached the top of music charts and fanned out into fashion, business, and even sports. But to see how it's grown, Clive Campbell, known globally as DJ Kool Herc and credited as one of hip-hop's pioneers, says you have to know how it started. In the early 1970s, hip-hop's counterculture rose in the face of poverty, gang violence, and crime in New York. Herc and his family immigrated from Jamaica, where he was influenced by a range of musicians and genres.
Music ain't got no color. No color. If it's good, I'm gonna play it. No matter what, I'm gonna play it.
Herc and his sister Cindy say they never thought their Bronx back-to-school recreation room party 50 years ago, where Cindy made the party flyers and an 18-year-old Herc spun records, would be so foundational to a new form of music.
As a Herc, you're going to be the DJ. He has all the music and the records and everything.
When Herc extended the record's breaks, or the beat in between verses, allowing the partiers to dance longer, a new phenomenon was born.
But it was more than just scratching records and having a good time. Herc says it was about bringing cultures together.
People picked it up and took it to the next level. Picked it up and took it, and that's what a culture does. You exchange.
That melting pot has influenced music entirely from then to now, putting the spotlight on regions across the country and around the world, allowing artists to add their own twist to the art form.
The people are the ones who recognize it. The people speak for you. You know, the people are the ones who said, yeah, you did this, we're thankful.
As the genre looks forward to the next half-century, Herc and Cindy say they're excited to see hip-hop to continue to evolve.
And here at home, there's a new mural in the Triad honoring one of hip-hop's pioneers. Ninth Wonder is a Grammy Award-winning producer who's a Winston-Salem native.
Yeah, he's known for producing hits for Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kendrick Lamar, and Erykah Badu. Earlier this summer, the city honored his success with a mural on North Liberty Street. The Public Art Commission paid for the artwork, done by Scott Nurkin.
Ninth Wonder, also known as Patrick Dalfit, is also an educator. He's taught classes at Wake Forest, Duke, and Harvard. He also has an entire exhibit dedicated to him at the National Museum of African American History and Culture over in Washington, D.C. And tomorrow there's a 50th anniversary of hip hop celebration in Raleigh at the City of Raleigh Museum. So exciting time for hip hop as of course it continues to evolve, and I can't help but to think of my favorite hip hop artists. I like J. Cole, Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, Snoop Dogg as well too. The list kind of goes on.
I loved Snoop. In fact, it was funny, like when Snoop first started, I remember people would almost laugh at some of his stuff and think, oh, he's just kind of being cool and different. And then little by little, he became this cultural icon that he really has surpassed what he did musically. I think he's a legend now, you know?
Yeah.
When I was really into hip hop and rap in my late high school and early college years. I was a big Outkast guy, Eminem, Jay-Z was. I even had a T-shirt of Jay-Z that I would wear all the time.
Oh yeah.
People were like, "Cool shirt." I'm like, yeah, thank you.
Speaking of hip hop too, Drake is on a tour right now, so yeah, making his way.
It's huge. All right, we'll be right back. Stay there.
sound always just makes me want to just, you know what I mean? And like leave y'all behind and just go and just go.
You should do it just like Lauren used to. She'd be jamming every time.
Where's the strobe light?
You know what I mean? Like I'm like, I need something.
Wouldn't it be great if we literally had a disco ball that would just drop just when that music came out right here?
Right here. Oh,
awesome.
We could probably make it happen.
Welcome
we have one
to the 4 to 5.
Yeah.
Welcome to the 4 to 5.
Welcome back. We digress, as usual.
Yeah, it's going to be hot this weekend?
Yes, the 90s, about 3 days in a row, possibly.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get to that in just a bit. But first, one of the big stories we are following today coming out of Washington, D.C. The Justice Department today announced a special counsel in the investigation into the president's son, Hunter Biden.
The government also announced the talks for a plea deal are at an impasse.
Attorney General Merrick Garland announced a special counsel to investigate President Biden's son Hunter. The move gives U.S. Attorney David Weiss expanded powers to continue his probe into Hunter Biden's tax and gun charges.
This appointment confirms my commitment to provide Mr. Weiss all the resources he requests. It also reaffirms that Mr. Weiss has the authority he needs to conduct a thorough investigation and to continue to take the steps he deems appropriate independently.
Weiss, who is a Trump appointee, began investigating Hunter Biden in 2019. In June, he announced a plea deal in which Biden would plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax crimes and would dismiss a felony gun charge if he remained drug-free and committed no additional crimes for 2 years.
That plea deal fell apart late last month when the judge in the case questioned the terms of the deal and whether it was in the public's best interest.
I don't think you move David Weiss into the special counsel category unless there might be something else, unless there is something that could come in the future.
House Republicans, who are leading their own investigations into Hunter Biden and the president, have long called for a special counsel in the case, but say they don't agree with the Attorney General's choice. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy on social media said, quote, "If Weiss negotiated the sweetheart deal that couldn't get approved, how can he be trusted as special counsel?" Attorney General Garland says Weiss has told Congress he will have the ultimate authority over deciding where, when, and whether to file charges. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
This all comes as former President Donald Trump is in legal trouble himself. This afternoon, a federal judge overseeing Trump's election conspiracy case warned that there are limits on what the former president can publicly say about the investigation as he campaigns for a second term. The judge also rejected prosecutors' broader protective order proposal that sought to prevent the public release of all evidence they hand over to Trump's defense as they prepare for trial. The former president is facing charges brought against him by special counsel Jack Smith stemming from the investigation into the January 6th insurrection.
Temperatures across the Carolinas right now pretty comfortable. We may see them tick up a little bit, though. Clouds are getting ready to push out of the viewing area, so that might cause that 81 to jump up a couple degrees here. 84 in Charlotte, 86 in Raleigh. Fayetteville is steaming down there, 90 degrees. 87 though in Wilmington. Some showers in coastal South Carolina, so Myrtle Beach is only at 73 right now. We'll drop down to the low 70s tonight. As a matter of fact, that'll be our overnight low, so expect that tomorrow morning when you make your way out. And then high temperatures this weekend, yeah, they're up there in the low 90s, 91 Saturday, 93 on Sunday. That's the hottest day of the next 7. There's that bank of clouds we're talking about. So Guilford County still with cloud cover. That's why we see an 81 there. It will bump up as soon as that leaves. And if you go out to a wider shot, you do see it is associated with that area of low pressure down around Charleston, South Carolina, and up through the Grand Strand, Myrtle Beach. And that is some heavy showers and severe thunderstorm warnings we've seen down that way, but it is moving off the coast tonight. High pressure builds in for us from the south. That brings in that hot and humid air for Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday. 3 days in a row that we could see the lower 90s. Here's your long range outlook with 91 Saturday, 93 Sunday, and 91 on Monday. Rain chances are best Monday, Tuesday afternoon, but even that's only a 30%. Wednesday's beautiful, lower humidity, partly cloudy, and 85. And we're back to the upper 80s for Thursday and Friday with a slight rain chance Friday afternoon.
Eric, thank you. The Winston-Salem Police Department is making sure students have the supplies they need for their first day of class. Earlier this afternoon, the department hosted a giveaway for all students from pre-K to high school. They handed out backpacks of school supplies to everyone that showed up to Grant Park.
Families are expected to shell out a record amount of money on back-to-school supplies this year. Experts are blaming inflation.
Oh, you need a hard plastic pencil box.
Parents are checking those supply lists twice.
Right there, those lunch boxes.
As they plan to spend a record amount on back-to-school shopping. The National Retail Federation says families with students in elementary to high school are expected to fork over $890. Those with college kids, a record $1,366 per student. One reason for the increase, about a third of shoppers are buying big-ticket items like computers and phones. New data show prices for smartphones are actually down 17.6% from last year, and books and other educational supplies are down 3%. Children's footwear is also cheaper.
Being able to find it on sale is always going to be a good thing.
Samantha Gordon from Consumer Reports says many retailers are offering deals, so compare prices. More than a dozen states offer summer sales tax holidays, which add to the savings.
Having two to shop for, since things have went up over the last couple of years, and the sales tax, that's going to help out a lot.
Experts say while one-stop shopping is tempting, it's important to take your time and be methodical.
If you're really looking to save money, the best strategy is to spread out your shopping over time and over different retailers.
And time's not up when the school bell rings.
You can ask teachers which items are going to be needed right away and what you might be able to hold off on until a later month.
Advice that could help shoppers.
I try to penny pinch whatever I can.
Stretch every dollar.
And listen to this, the National Retail Federation says back to school and college spending is expected to surpass $41 billion this year.
Wow, goodness. That's why, like being alert when you can see those items go for sale is so important. But when you hear stories like this, it warms your heart when you think about all of those giveaway events that community groups hold, police departments, church groups, all of those different things, so people can get some of those items for free if possible.
Absolutely. And it does add up. I mean, as a father of four, Chad looked at me when that story said $1,300 for a college student, and that's probably average or on the low end.
Yeah. Whenever I see stories like this, honestly, it's more nostalgic for me. Just thinking about going back to school shopping. I grew up in a very small town. Our closest mall was 3 hours away. So we would take like a weekend. My mom would put it on the calendar. This weekend we're going to Appleton, which was the city where the mall was, and like just go all out. And it was just so fun. I loved it so much. The clothes shopping, the school supplies shopping. I just
all in
loved
that
back
one
to
moment in that one place.
Plus, you probably thought Appleton was like New York City, because that was like
it was huge. I was like, Mom, there are 4 lanes on this road.
Yes.
And no cows.
She's like, I know, don't talk to me right now. So if you'd like to help students here, there's actually an easy way to do that. Our Tools for School campaign is happening right now. Through September 11th, we'll be collecting supplies at your local Walmart. Simply put any new supplies in the collection boxes near the entrances. We've got a list of needed supplies on our website.
Well, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. High Point Mayor says a local business is continuing their commitment to communities. Mayor Jay Wagner commended Walmart for upgrading customer shopping experience by remodeling the store. The Walmart on North Main Street held ceremonies this morning, debuting their new renovations to the community. They also gave $1,000 to High Point Police and fire departments for their support.
Target is recalling more than 2 million candles after getting reports of glass shattering during use. The recall impacts glass 1-wick and 3-wick candles. Target is urging customers to stop using the candles and take them back for a full refund.
A recall comes after a person got sick and had to go to the hospital for eating ice cream. The Food and Drug Administration issued a recall on Real Kosher brand soft serve on-the-go ice cream cups. The FDA says the cups might be contaminated with listeria and advised people not to eat them. They have stopped making the product until the FDA finishes the investigation. And the FDA also issued a recall on a organic kiwi brand for a possible contamination. The recalled kiwis are grown in New Zealand under a brand called Zespri. The FDA says they also may be contaminated with listeria. Listeria is a bacteria that can cause serious and sometimes fatal infections in children, elderly people, and others with weakened immune systems.
We are hearing some disturbing new details today related to a months-long investigation in Randolph County. The sheriff's office there says deputies arrested 19 people during their Operation Child Predator. The investigation targeted potential child predators. Sheriff Greg Siebold says the men showed up to meet who they thought were children, some as young as 9 years old. 11 of the suspects are from our area, 2 are from out of state. In all, the 19 men are facing a combined 42 felony charges.
And proactive cases like this are critically important as well, because these cases would have never come to light. Nobody reported these. And so we never would have received a report on these offenders that wanted to meet children for sexual purposes.
And the sheriff says we should know that all of these people are considered normal, everyday people. One was an attorney, another was a retired fire chief. Investigators urge parents to keep a close eye on what their kids are doing online. The sheriff says this investigation is not over and more charges are possible. We'll be right back.
Hey, 1, 2. I'm putting it on right now. I apologize if you hear a little scrackly scratch and stuff. I'm putting it on. Because I'm walking to y'all.
Negotiations will resume between striking screenwriters and studios. The Writers Guild of America sent a message to its members saying they expect the studios will respond to their proposals. The writers have been striking for more than 100 days now. The Writers Union wants better pay and working conditions. Meantime, the strike of Hollywood actors has paused all filming and production of movies.
While that plays out, you can still check out previously released films like They Cloned Tyrone. It's a new movie on Netflix, but is it News 2 approved? WFMY News 2 Manning Franks, of course, has that answer.
Do you feel like that there is somebody watching you? Like there are people out there observing your every move? Perhaps there even is another you out there. Well, that's the feeling that's been personified in the brand new genre-bending comedy They Cloned Tyrone, an ode to blaxploitation films with a pulpy sci-fi twist that is sure to catch your eye. This film was put on my radar, and because it's Netflix, it's easy to push play. And thankfully, I didn't want to push pause anytime soon.
Slick, come on. That make your spider senses tingle.
Like I'm in the twilight zone.
Don't let the back door hit you.
We gotta go.
In the community of the Glen, drug dealer Fontaine goes about his life from waking up to buying a lottery ticket to hanging with friends. It's nearly the same routine. That is until Fontaine is shot to death. But then he wakes up the next day like nothing happened.
You should be breathing through some tubes right now.
Couple that with a series of strange happenings, and with the help of Slick Charles and Yo-Yo, Fontaine plans to uncover what's going on in the Glen. You all know by now that I'm a big fan of films that play with tone, that ebb and flow between genres, and They Cloned Tyrone fits nicely and often perfectly into that category. From offering blistering social commentary to tackling sci-fi concepts like cloning and mind control, the film has its tongue firmly planted in its cheek with its larger-than-life characters and story that has elements of 80s and 90s classics like They Live and Groundhog Day. While the direction and story from Joel Taylor is confidently illustrated throughout the movie, the real selling point is the commitment between a holy trinity of a main cast. The main star, John Boyega, while providing the stereotypical straight man laughs, houses the emotional core that brings a darker edge to the movie. Across from him, Teyonah Parris and Jamie Foxx provide some of the best comedic chemistry of the year, playing a duo that works perfectly either together or separately. This is one of those titles that could easily get lost in the ever-expanding Netflix catalog, but in terms of original content that I've watched recently on the platform, They Cloned Tyrone is a lean, easy watch that is worth the stream. In fact, I can see myself easily watching this again. I'm giving They Cloned Tyrone a 2 approved. You can stream this only on Netflix.
All right, so
2 approved.
2 approved. We'll do that every time I get a 2 approved. 2 approved.
Give me the general premise, like if you concise.
Oh, well, without spoiling too much,
Yeah.
it's basically reminds you of Groundhog Day to an extent, and as I've said in the review, They Live from the 80s and the 90s. Do you guys know They Live at all? Okay,
Wait,
well.
yes, I do.
You do?
Yes, I do now that
Or
you-
someone puts on these glasses
Yes.
and they realize there's a whole other world out there.
Yes.
Similar to that, and that's all that I will say, because there are some twists and turns even in the first, 30 minutes.
A lot of twists and turns. I've seen it. I will say I had to watch it kind of like, it took me maybe the 3rd time to actually slowly enjoy it, because the first time I wasn't getting into it that much, but then the 2nd and 3rd time I was getting into it. I'm a big Jamie Foxx fan. He's very, very
so
talented.
good in
He
this.
does phenomenal in the movie, but it's a good movie. It is.
Yeah, no, I really do enjoy it because, as I've said in the review, I love movies that play with genre and kind of ebb and flow between tone. And this movie does that because in the 15-30 minutes it changes, and you probably know that it very changes.
It was just very different
It
too,
is.
though. You know what I mean? It was very different.
Have we
so.
piqued y'all's interest?
Movies.
Like, okay.
Well, I like the fact that there's like kind of high-tech sci-fi, but it's set in
the
older
the
times.
80s, I believe.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
For sure.
Thank you, Manny Franks. 2 approved.
2 approved, so you
We'll
got to
be
check
right
it
back.
out.
Search and rescue efforts are underway in Hawaii today for people who are missing after these destructive wildfires. At least 55 people have died, and leaders expect that number to rise.
As Maui firefighters doused hotspots in the tourist town of Lahaina, residents went to see the devastation firsthand.
It's way by far, beyond any tsunamis or any other tropical storms that have come through, by 100 times.
Caleb Knapp and Julie Lundy lived in this housing complex for 16 years. Now, all that remains of their home is smoking rubble.
This is our first time coming back and actually knowing that our house burned down. We haven't really known anything for the last couple of days because there's no information coming through.
80% of Lahaina is gone after wildfires tore through the island Tuesday. Some residents say they received no official warnings.
We kind of just figured it out on our own. I realized when it was time to go when the smoke was so dark, we could not see anything outside.
The governor toured the devastation Thursday, calling it the largest natural disaster in Hawaii state history.
Everyone, love your neighbors, support them.
Fellow Hawaiians are doing just that. People on Oahu collected supplies for those who lost everything.
I just wanted to help in any way that I could.
And while the full scope of the disaster won't be known for quite some time, the governor has already vowed to rebuild.
Meantime, President Biden approved a disaster declaration for the wildfires, allowing for federal aid. Now, if you'd like to help people affected by the fires, you can make certain that you're donating to a reputable group. The American Red Cross, the Hawaii Community Foundation, or Maui United Way. We've got more information on our website.
Warm weather moving in for us for the weekend for sure. Beautiful day today, lots of sunshine. There's our time lapse going through the afternoon. It was just perfect, a couple of clouds here and there, not really a big deal. Some of the cloud cover recently has been holding our temperature down a smidge. So we will drop into the low 70s tonight with mostly clear skies. We do have a little bit of cloud cover. You can see it now. It's just about ready to clear the area. In about another 30 minutes or so, it'll be out of Guilford County, and it's moving pretty quickly. Once that goes through, clear skies tonight and mostly sunny skies tomorrow and Sunday, and rain chances are diminished, okay? So 20%. Normally we see a 30 or 40 every afternoon in the summer. That's kind of the routine, right? Pop up, isolated, maybe you get rain, your neighbor doesn't. It's just that kind of thing. But for this weekend, the rain chances are way down. So we only put a 20% in as a just in case, but most of you will not see rain this weekend. High pressure does move in from the south, and that will heat us up. And that's why we expect to see these high temperatures. Look at the 7-day, up to 91 on Saturday, 93, hottest day of the week on Sunday. Still low 90s Monday, but the rain chance is slightly better, 30% Monday, Tuesday. Highs in the upper 80s Tuesday, Wednesday, best day of the week. Partly cloudy, no mention of rain, and 85. That is comfortable. 89 on Thursday, and then Friday, 87.
And before we go, here's some sports to keep your eye on. FC Charlotte will face off against Lionel Messi and Inter Miami for a spot in the League's Cup semifinals. Last month, the international soccer superstar joined the Miami team, boosting revenue and fans. The game for tonight is scheduled to start at 8:30. And then tomorrow we are going to get our first look at Carolina Panthers quarterback Bryce Young in action. He's set to start in the preseason game against the New York Jets, but how long he plays, well, that's up to Coach Frank Reich. The game starts at 4 and it will be on our air since we are the official home of the Carolina Panthers.
And tomorrow's game on our air will impact some of our regular programming. The game starts at 4, which is right in the middle of our coverage of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Golf coverage starts at 3 p.m., but to make it work at 4, golf will move to our 2.2 channel for people who see us over the air. If you've got Spectrum, it's channel 1255. Our regular channel will air the Panthers game. We'll be right back.
Hey, check 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Check.
Hi, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri.
Hi there, 123, 123. Amber, thank you.
Snow is taken to Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist for his injuries.
It is time for my 2 cents, and today I want to talk about coworkers. You know, on those days when you come in, you might not be feeling it, right? It could be a Monday after you've had a long weekend, you don't want to get back to the grind, but you come in the door and you're kind of like, okay, all right, let's get started. Got things to do, right? You sit down, start to work. Hopefully you have what I have and we have here in our newsroom, and that is someone that I call our little happy battery. Blair Barnes, and I took this picture of her just the other day, is that little ray of sunshine that every workplace, especially a newsroom, I mean, think about what we have to do every day. You need this person. I look at her desk, there's always little notes of encouragement, or there's little sayings about being happy or peaceful or loving. She even has little statuette of Smurfs, little statuettes on her desk. I mean, she is the quintessential happy person. I don't think I've ever seen her in a bad mood, ever. Do you think about how valuable that is in any workplace and really in our lives? Don't you need that person that you know you can count on that's always going to be positive and a ray of sunshine? Let's face it, work or personal life is not easy at times, really hard. And sometimes those people give you just enough to make you smile as you walk to a break room and get a cup of coffee or a soda, and it just kind of takes a little bit of that tension away. So I hope you're as lucky as we are and that you have a ray of sunshine in your life like we have with Blair. She's awesome. Love you, Blair. That's just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMI News 2 at 5 starts now.
Developing right now at 5 o'clock, a man is charged for threatening to attack a High Point Muslim Community Center. 33-year-old Bohan Mayhick is now behind bars.
The police say it started as a fight involving a High Point business. Investigators say he was upset with the business owner over services. They did not say which business, but say the suspect then sent a threat